I am so sorry for missing last week. For those of you who noticed that I did not upload a video, I do apologize. However, I promise I will make it up to you. This week I wanted to do something different. I got together with a group of amazing people and we had a discussion concerning the coronavirus. If you don't know what it is, it's a virus that's been attacking all corners of the world recently, and I felt it necessary to address the issue because I personally don't think everyone is taking it as seriously as we should. So that's why I wanted to meet with these people and have this discussion, and it turned out very well. So that's what we're going to be doing this week. I am thinking about making this a regular segment on the show. Let's say, I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet, but maybe every other month or whenever something interesting comes up, I will meet with people and I will talk and see what they're thinking and how they're feeling about a certain situation. So I hope that you enjoy this discussion. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, so we're here to discuss the coronavirus. We're all aware of what it is. So, simple questions. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear coronavirus? Truthfully, this is real as it can be, unfiltered.
In my opinion, coronavirus, I don't know, I just feel like it was made in the lab.
It was made in the lab?
Yeah.
Why do you think it was made in a lab?
I mean, because this somehow just developed out of nowhere. Do you want to hear my conspiracy theory?
Yes, I want to hear everything.
Okay, my conspiracy theory is either they're trying to decrease the population,
okay,
or this was planned by America, since China is actually on the rise to be an economic superpower, which is threatening America.
Mm-hmm. That is actually really deep.
And when you think about it now, there's been a lot of lost jobs and factories have been closed because of this coronavirus in China. They cannot provide certain products. The economy is falling drastically in China at this moment, which could benefit America, if you understand.
Does anybody want to jump in?
That's a really good point. I think it's not so much a conspiracy theory. It actually sounds
theory.
Like it's possible.
like it's a thing. Viruses, it sounds pretty unbelievable that they just started from nowhere and had such a devastating effect. You go back a couple of years to things like Ebola, which wrecked Africa and was such a huge thing there, but not as big, or it was big, but elsewhere in the world it didn't have the same effect. But this seemed to strike China pretty hard and pretty fast and came out of almost nowhere. And so for it to just be random and I feel there's something behind it.
So do you think they didn't expect it to be beyond China? Because now it's going everywhere. It's even in America now. So are you saying that they planned it, but maybe they didn't think it was going to come outside of China?
Yeah, possibly. Because I've seen quite a few think pieces also about why isn't it ravaging Africa as much as it is elsewhere? And the question is, why is that a concern? Shouldn't that be oh wow, it's not hitting Africa?
Yeah, scientists want to know why.
That should be the question, but it's more of a how come it isn't?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think something that we are in this generation. I was discussing it with somebody. Now, the wrong and the evil of the world is so much the normal that when people actually do good things, you're like, oh, they did something good, instead of, okay, that's supposed to be normal.
Yeah.
And even with the viruses, I don't think people are taking it seriously, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. Is why are there things in place for when it gets worse? Why are we not trying to stop it before it gets to that point? What are we waiting on? Are we concerned with economics and the financial aspects of it, instead of actually cutting it out and ensuring that we all survive this. So my question to you three, what are you doing? Are you taking it seriously? What are you doing to protect yourself?
The first thing is I agree with you. I think it was made up in a lab
Okay,
and it got out of hand.
right,
Believe it or not, this is bioterrorism.
okay,
This is bioterrorism, and there was no adequate measures to manage it. So it got out of hand. One of the things that I do every 2 hours, I wash my hands every 2 hours, because when the bird flu, the Ebola came, actually, when Ebola came, a lot of people didn't want to sit with me in the plane because I was wearing my native African, and I use it to my advantage. They don't want to sit with me on the plane, so be it. But on a serious note, this has affected economics.
it has, yeah.
And for example, the prices of face masks and all this thing
It's
have
up,
gone
it's
400%.
yes,
So,
£40 for 1 can of Lysol. Like, I just said that.
yeah.
and even to the tiny hand sanitizers, like £8-10 for the tiny ones.
Yes. So the best thing is do accurate washing of your hands, hygiene, and avoid places that it's affecting them. So that's why one can do until a vaccine is made. It's going to affect a lot of people. I'm afraid if it gets to Africa,
Yeah,
it's gonna be very, very devastating.
yeah, that's
Very,
true.
very devastating.
Not only Africa, but like other third world countries, and so that they don't have the equipment and the technology for something like that. It's gonna go really quickly, and that is why I think people should take it seriously. So, I'm not sure if any of you here are religious in any form or on any level, but do you think this is beyond just now? This is a step into probably the end times. I've heard people say, well, this is the sign. They talk about this in different religions, not just Christianity, in every one you could think of. There is something like this in every kind of religion. Do you think it has anything to do with that?
It's weird because all throughout history there has been a plague-like thing. So if we go back, we would be in the end times already. You
Right.
know, if we go back and the one with the rats, or all the poxes and all of that, there has always been something.
But the question is, has there ever been something like this? I mean, I was reading an article. My friend somebody sent it to me, and they were saying that there was somebody that was infected and a healthy person. They stood together for 15 seconds. They didn't touch each other, anything, and that person got infected. So, have we ever seen something like this before?
I think modernization and civilization has let us know, be aware of this disease. Like my colleague said, there are times of the pulses, smallpox, measles. That wasn't globalized because there was no internet
Right.
at that time.
Okay.
But now, internet has widened everything.
Yeah.
So nobody knows when the world is going to expire. Let me put it that way. Nobody knows.
Right.
So this is part of the things that will strengthen human race.
Right.
This is part of the things that will bring our ingenuity and innovation to be able to at least act fast, manage this,
Yeah.
because believe it or not, something worse than this will still come.
Yes. Yes.
So nobody knows when the world is going to expire.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think there's so many things for us to be focused on than to be occupied with the little things. Like, we still have to be worried about racism and things like that. We're all exposed to everything that happens. It's not a disease that's just going to come and affect black people or white people. We're people at the end of the day, and I still don't understand why we have to be worried about things like racism and little things like, don't we have enough to worry about that I have to turn on my feed and hear, oh, Drake said something about his fiance or something, or his baby mama or something like that. There is more happening in the world. I mean, yes, that's celebrity news or whatever, but I think people, and they're saying that people are outraged by that. Don't we have enough to be outraged by than to be worried about that? So that's why I'm waking up and I'm thinking we're not taking this as seriously as we could. So we're gonna wrap up because I don't want to keep you guys too long, and I'm really much happy that we had a chance to do this. What is something that you want to leave anybody that's looking? What is something you want to leave them with?
This is serious.
Yeah.
This is serious because, one, like I said, globalization is spreading this. People travel very well. Most of the result places, for example, some countries in Europe are seriously affected. So this is serious. So we need to take precautions. We need to ensure that we take care of each other.
Right.
And if it's affecting your neighbors, your friends, let them seek help as soon as possible.
Right.
My advice would be practice good hygiene, especially over here. Like, I noticed that people have poor hygiene over here.
People
They
sneeze
cough,
at you.
sneeze in their hands, just out, and they just wipe their hands or they touch something that you have to touch after them. So I feel like what we should do as individuals, if we witness this, we need to continuously wash our hands. We need to continuously use hand sanitizer just to prevent us. Because another thing, because since it has the same symptoms as flu,
Right.
we need to be careful because we always see sick people around us.
Right.
We don't know where these people travel to. We don't know what they do on the weekends because a lot of people travel out of this town on the weekends. We don't know where they go. We don't know who they come in contact with. So I feel like we need to be extremely careful. Like, I wouldn't say be selfish and only worry about yourself, but make yourself your first priority.
I think you have to be selfish.
Yeah.
It's because you're accountable to yourself.
Yeah.
True.
So, in my opinion, just try to practice good hygiene because we don't really know how to prevent ourselves from getting this disease. We don't know exactly how people are getting this disease. So, as you said, simply by standing on the side of someone who can catch this disease, we don't know how to protect ourselves from this.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that we have to take the necessary precautions, keeping ourselves safe and keeping those around us. But at the same time, I also think that I don't want to sound like I'm wearing like a tinfoil hat and this is another conspiracy theory. I know that the media has a way of sensationalizing almost everything. So while we should be concerned, we shouldn't get to the stage where it's all we think about, because that's what it's at this stage. By the end of this conversation, I'll probably check my phone and there's probably a BBC notification that there's a new coronavirus patient today. So it's all about, doing what you can, but not letting it take over your life, because it does get really bad.
If I could say one more thing in relation to what he said, when he said don't let it take over our lives, I actually was having a conversation yesterday with a friend, and they told me they feel as if this coronavirus is just some cover-up for something that is going on, like something bigger that is going on in the world.
It could be.
We don't know.
We don't.
That was just
Yeah.
a theory.
There's a lot that we don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so one question before we close. Why is it that you are not wearing masks?
One, it's, I think mask is not an absolute solution.
Okay, I know.
But the reason why I'm not wearing it, I'm not living in a place where it is now very, very prevalent.
But she just mentioned that we don't know where people go and who they come in contact with. So someone could go away to London for the weekend and meet someone that went somewhere and then come here. So why are we not wearing
I
masks?
think in my case, I think my mother joked about this over the weekend because I was going to London. And I said, I'm not going to wear a mask because then everyone's going to think I have it. So
That is exactly it.
So I was like, I mean, it makes sense. I'm on a crowded train.
Yeah.
I'm in the tube. There's barely any air. It would make sense to wear the mask, but if I'm the first and only person wearing the mask, then...
And that is one of the reasons I'm upset with the government. Like, I'm thinking everybody wants to wear a mask. And they're afraid that if I do, then people will look at me funny and say that I have it. But if the government was to come out and say, you know what, as a step of precaution, let us all wear masks, then
Yes.
we're on the same playing field. And nobody's looking at each other funny. But I'm telling you this, next week, I will wear my mask.
But there, a doctor actually put out this article, I think this week, saying that wearing the mask, it doesn't help because it can store in droplets
Yeah.
that could harbor other bacteria or something like that. So what they're saying is using the mask is not good.
So what exactly are we supposed to do then?
We don't know.
Don't know. Proper hygiene.
Because like someone mentioned that, you know, it's a virus using antibacterial, which kills bacteria.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
Why?
Okay.
Yeah.
But I guess at the end of the day, we just need to take little steps, do little things to protect ourselves. Nothing is gonna guarantee, like if we wash our hands every 2 hours, or if we wear a mask, or anything like that. That doesn't guarantee that we won't be exposed to it. But at the end of the day, we need to do whatever we think is necessary to protect ourselves. And I think that brings us to the end of this discussion. It was so much fun talking to you guys and listening to all your theories. And on that note, please remember to follow and subscribe. I upload videos every Sunday. So stay tuned for next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.